I am now the host. Alrighty.
Yes.
Let me know when you're done with your yawn and we'll start.
Three, two.
Come one, come all. Welcome back to Chiowa. We are in episode 74. As always, I am Michael Olson alongside my good buddy, Mr. Stampa. How we doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. Been better, been worse. Can't complain. Episode 74. Who the fuck is number 74? Who am I thinking of? Bears O line. Is it Charles Leno?
Is Leno 72? I think it's Leno 72. Because I think we said Charles Leno and that was episode 72.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I don't know who 74 is. Clearly we're not very good Bears fans.
We're not. Speaking of football,
speaking
the
of football,
Super Bowl was
the Super
two
Bowl.
days ago.
What a segue that was, Michael.
Oh man, DeAnthony Smith.
Never heard of him.
I don't know. I don't know if it's current or what the deal is, but
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, what a segue. We're back. Pretty disappointing game. Not
Brutal.
because I had some money on the Chiefs, just because it was a boring game.
Very boring.
I don't want to say boring. It just was very one-sided.
I think saying boring is fine. It was a boring game. Not much happened. No touchdowns from the Chiefs. Tom Brady did Tom Brady things, which you respect and you admire, and it's great. Very cool. It's the legacy of Tom. But it was a boring-ass game. Commercials kind of sucked. They weren't very good. People had different opinions on the halftime show. But overall, the product in the field, not very exciting.
No. I'll say during the halftime show, I did the dishes because Hillary cooked all of our food. So I was like, oh, I don't care as much about the halftime show. So I did the dishes. I think Hillary enjoyed it. Didn't really pay attention to the commercials because I was worried about my bets and talking to you guys and fucking scrolling around Twitter and everything. And then, I mean, like you said, Tom Brady had a Tom Brady-esque performance. His stat lines outside of his touchdowns looked very similar to Mahomes outside of Mahomes' interceptions. I think Mahomes was like 22 for 29 or 28, for 32, and Brady was like 22 for 29. Mahomes had more yards, but, Brady was able to find the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, it was
not
pretty
exciting.
Pedestrian performance on both sides from the quarterback, but I think that the main difference was just how good Tampa's defense was. They were all over the place, and how poor, and credit to this, partially to the Chiefs are getting pressure. The Bucs are getting pressure on Mahomes, but they were short-staffed on the offensive line, the Chiefs being. I think they had three guys playing different positions they normally don't play. Two starters were out. He was on his back a lot, scrambling around, running around back there, making plays, or attempting to make plays, often hitting guys in the face or in the hands, and then just dropping the ball. So that was crazy.
He was, I think it was in the fourth quarter, he was horizontal. He was like a foot off the ground, Mahomes was, threw a perfect hit him in the face mask. I think he had two touchdown drops. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think it was Williams both times, but Mahomes had two touchdowns that should have been touchdowns, and they weren't.
I mean, just superhero type plays where he was, like you said, if the catches had been made, we'd be talking about, kind of an all-time Super Bowl moment. But just brick hands on the Chiefs. And, everyone has, those types of games, and give credit where credit's due to the defensive line of the Bucs. They have some absolute monsters on that line, being, JPP, and you got Ndamukong Suh, and you got a plethora of the other just crazy talented dudes. But they didn't play their best game, being the Chiefs. So it was an underwhelming performance. I would have taken the Chiefs. I didn't bet, but if I had, I would have taken the Chiefs -3, I think. I'm not sure who you had or what side of the coin you were on there.
Chiefs -3, and I had tails.
Yeah, tough to lose the first bet on the coin toss, and you're kind of going downhill from there.
I should have known. I should have cashed out all my bets immediately and just taken a couple some guaranteed losses. But whatever. I'm not. It's it's for fun.
Yeah, outside the game, that which was kind of shitty, but whatever. Congrats to all of our Tampa Bay listeners, which I'm sure there's plenty of.
Yeah, tons of people down in Florida.
Yeah. But one thing that's always, positive, sometimes the halftime show, maybe, up your alley or not, maybe the game sucks, maybe your team loses, but there's one thing you can always count on for the Super Bowl, and that's good fucking food.
Good, delicious, consistent, ever-changing food.
Yeah. Did you guys watch at home? Did you guys just watch it, you and Hillary? What kind of food did you guys have? Did you order? Did you make? What'd you guys do?
Just me and Hill. We watched it at home. We had some beers left over from the other night. We actually got Pseudo Sue, but they came in 12-ounce cans.
Oh, I've never had a Pseudo Sue in a 12-ounce.
It was weird. It was weird. I know it was very odd, but we saw it and it just looked funky. It looked strange because they always come in those tall 16-ounce, like you said, pint cans. But we got a 12 pack of 12, so we split those between the night before and then and we still have a couple more.
Nice.
So that's what we drank, and that was fine. And then for food, I didn't contribute at all to the making of food, but I helped. I helped plan what we
And
were going to
eat.
eat. Yes. So we had some buffalo style wings. So
Classic.
whatever
Oh, you
wings
made
with
those.
buffalo sauce. Hill did.
Nice.
They were delicious. We used like frozen buffalo wings that we've used. I don't know what brand, but they were
Right.
just the regular, whatever little size ones. She made them in the air fryer, and then when they were done, put them in the oven to keep them warm and make them a little bit crisp or a little more crisp. And then we had some zucchini chips, which were also fucking delicious. Zucchini chips that were baked in the oven and had some panko breadcrumbs and almond flour on top to make them get
Very
them a little crisp.
fancy.
And then some sweet potato fries, which were also delicious. And then Hill made a big batch of cookies. So we're still rolling through those chocolate chip walnut cookies.
That's a nice
Sorry.
spread. That's like a unique spread too. Like something that like is not everyone you're not gonna see at every single Super Bowl party. That's
Mhm.
those all sound delicious though.
Yeah. And it was just us two. So we were like, what sounds good? We weren't pleasing the masses or anything. So
Right.
like, what sounds good? And the wings were fucking delicious. Like we'll probably have those again someday soon.
That sounds fire. It sounds
Yeah,
delicious.
it was really good.
Nothing. I
So
mean, fuck, buffalo wings are so good.
they're so good. They were
Have you ever
so
been to
good.
Buffalo and have a buffalo wing?
Never been to Buffalo.
Yeah.
No.
Underwhelming place, to be honest. Love Bill's
Really?
Mafia. People were nice.
Have you,
Underwhelming
when were
place.
you there for work?
I was there for work. Yeah, in the Buffalo
Huh.
area up in Niagara.
Hmm.
Underwhelming, to be honest. Went to a
Okay.
wings place, one of the famous ones. I forget what it was called. But it was like one of the three famous ones.
Was it Buffalo Wild Wings?
It was that. Yeah, it was that
Okay.
local
A local establishment.
I forget what it was called. It was like somebody's like a name, like not Bob's, but something like that.
Mark's.
Yeah, maybe that. No, but it was okay. I mean, they're good, but every fucking buffalo wing is good.
Yeah, it's because it's a buffalo wing.
Exactly. But
I don't want to
anyways,
say it's hard to mess up a buffalo wing. I think that if you try a little bit, you can make it good. It's hard to make a really, really, really good buffalo wing,
yeah,
but you can make a good buffalo wing.
it's like pizza. It's
Yeah.
good and bad pizza, but even bad pizza is good pizza.
Yeah, because it's still pizza.
Exactly.
So what did
Exactly.
you have? Where were you? Were you at your
Yep,
apartment?
went
You go
to
to
friends.
Brian's.
Yep. Went to our buddy Brian's. We had a handful of people over there, so we had everything from everyone from Chicago and having some nice Jewel wings. We had some nice wings from Jewel. Somebody brought those.
Yep.
I made like sheet tray nachos and some little smokies brought that over.
What kind of were they? Were they like dipped in barbecue sauce? Did you like cook them
Mhm.
in barbecue sauce? Were
Just
they
a crock pot, whatever. Yep.
nice?
So
So
the
good.
classic. We had some chocolate chip cookies as well. We had what else did we have? We had some Brussels sprouts. We had some
Can we put
little
a pin in Brussels sprouts?
what's that?
Can we put a pin in Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, we can put a pin in Brussels sprouts, of course.
Okay, go
And
on.
some
What
like
else
other
did
like
you have?
sliders and stuff. People brought like chicken sliders, and yeah, it was really good. A nice like plethora of food, some dips and everything. Of course, it was delicious. It's fucking delicious. Ate way
Good.
too much, and had to find myself on the treadmill this afternoon to start writing off some of those consumed calories.
Oh, so you gave yourself a day between eating and having to work it off.
I
Is that
did because
right?
I was a piece of shit yesterday. So we're
That's
recording
okay.
on Tuesday the 9th, and I was a pile of shit on them yesterday. I mean, I obviously had to work, but I had like zero energy. Maybe consumed one too many alcoholic beverages during the game.
Hmm.
Had to make it an enjoyable experience, and the game was shit. So I had a few hazy IPAs, mixing a couple seltzers, and then one thing leads to another. It's 11 o'clock, and you're like, I should probably go home and stop drinking. And yeah, it was one of those days. So yesterday was a little bit of a slow moving kind of Monday, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So you were hanging out till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think I was almost in bed before the game was over. I was just so destroyed. It was a very it was a day.
Yeah, no, that's
It
all
was a
right. There's
day.
nothing wrong with that. Hey, you do your Super Bowl how you want to do your Super Bowl. It's a national holiday.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. So, anyways, today was a requirement to get back onto the treadmill, and unfortunately, I have to use that terminology because it's cold as fuck here. We're living in Siberia, like it's not like in Chicago. It is cold as fuck. It looks beautiful outside. The sky is blue, but it's like 6 degrees.
It's daunting.
It's
It's
terrible.
very
It's
intimidating.
absolutely terrible.
And you get the wind chill too. So it
Yeah.
probably feels even colder than it actually is there.
Yeah, I think on Sunday when I was walking over to my friend's place, it was like negative, like 20-degree wind chill.
It's horrible.
Right
Terrible.
now, right now it's a balmy 9 outside. Feels like
Yeah,
9,
we got
so not
we
terrible.
got 10 degrees here in Des Moines right now.
Okay. Well, it's
Um,
18 here. It just feels like 9. It's cold as fuck
uh,
though.
okay.
And the warmest we're supposed to get to is 21 over the next like 10 days. So it's not great. Um,
Nice.
riding some treadmill time, which is the first time I've done that in probably close to a year, and it's awful. But
Terrible.
that's okay.
I haven't had to do it. I say that because I don't have access to one right now. If I had access to a treadmill, I would absolutely be running on a treadmill. Running outside is not fun. It's not good right now. But we do what we can.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty inconsistent anyway, just in my running over the last like month and a half, and really starting to feel it in my belly. I need to either change the way I eat or change the way I run, and it's going to be hard for me to change the way I eat because I like to eat
I
good
get
food.
that. I get that.
So I'm going to have to pick it up again. I was able to get 10 miles in yesterday,
I saw that. It
which
was
was pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice and slow. Haven't ran. I don't think I run a double-digit run since December. Like I don't think I
That's
put
okay.
in any double-digit runs in January. Yeah, it's fine. It's just not consistent with how I normally am. So I had to. It was like a run walk. I ran the better part of the first 7 miles, unless I
Yeah.
came across a street. But then had to walk quite a bit, which was fine. I was okay with it. The problem was when I started walking is when I started getting cold
Yeah.
because you stop moving quite as quickly. So then that kind of kicked my ass to start running again. But I was bundled up. I was wearing ski goggles, wearing a hat. I was fine, and it wasn't very windy, so that was nice. But oh man, 10 miles,
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of
long. It's tough.
beards, icicles, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
eyebrows and eyelash icicles, and on everyone's Strava posts and Instagram posts and everyone who's
It's
out running
exciting.
right now. It's cold everywhere, man. Like it's cold in
Mm-hmm.
Florida. It's cold
Mm-hmm.
in Texas. It's cold as fucking Iowa. It's cold as fucking
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. It's cold everywhere, man. It's not. It's no bueno.
It's not good.
So
Not at all.
you got. So how long have you had your ski goggles? I feel like a lot of people have been breaking those out the last few days. I know Nate and Alex have
I've
been doing
probably
that. You did.
yeah, I've probably had these for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Actually maybe even longer than that. I don't know. I got them at a ski resort in Colorado. Um, and I got them because I needed like some sort of ski goggles. And I've only used them once for skiing or snowboarding or
Right.
whatever, maybe twice. But I use them in running in the winter frequently enough when it's below 5 degrees. Not necessarily too because snow's blowing in my eyes, but because it's so fucking cold. I don't want my eyelashes to freeze or my whatever. I want to keep my eyes from being so cold that I close them and they don't open again.
Yeah, that's turns out that'd be bad.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
Turns out that'd be
Not
bad.
yeah, it'd be bad. So that's why I have them. That's why I wear them.
So the running goggles. They're not ski goggles. They're running goggles.
Basically, they're running
Let's
goggles.
maybe we can start a little offshoot of that. No, that doesn't get talked about enough. Everyone calls them. Oh, I'm gonna wear my ski goggles on my run today. Maybe we should
Yeah.
design a ski goggle specifically for running and call them running goggles, and then we can be millionaires.
Yeah. So you basically just take the ski goggle design and rebrand it as a running goggle
Correct.
and
Yeah.
say, hey, you can buy a running goggle for $2 less
Yep.
or
Exactly.
two fewer dollars, and then you
Yeah.
can use them to ski.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And that, yeah, if you use them while they're skiing and they come off, that's your fault because they're running goggles. You should be using them while you're skiing, but you could use them while you're skiing, I
Exactly.
suppose.
We can specifically say this product was not built for skiing,
Exactly.
but you can use it for ski. You can use anything for skiing if you want.
Yeah. We'll have it in a super small, fine print on the packaging. These aren't for skiing, but yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
We'll put a
Exactly.
pin. We'll put a speaking of putting pin in things. We'll put a pin in that idea for future development. That's an
Okay.
R&D idea. The
Okay.
Chiowa R&D idea. With running goggles for the future. Okay, I don't
Okay.
hate that idea.
Okay.
Something I wanted to mention, and I added it to our little checklist here, and something I've been kind of thinking about it. We've talked about it a number of times on this podcast, but I know you said your last week, and you mentioned it today, that you're kind of struggling with, maybe not struggling is the wrong word, but not really feeling like the motivation or like wanting to like go out there and get consistent because you don't have consistent running schedule because you don't have a race or anything or whatever on the
Mhm.
calendar. And something I was thinking actually on when I was kind of logging just the boring strides on a treadmill this afternoon was, you know, just how important it is. And again, I mentioned this last week again, and I apologize for people who haven't heard this, kind of like a broken record, but just how important it is for like accountability. And I was thinking about it, like even on our little virtual run on Friday, which we usually do our Friday, runs together when it's not COVID and we're together and we can go out and get coffee and donuts, before work on a Friday. But we all did like a virtual thing on Friday where we had a little Zoom link. We all ran, some mileage or did a little at home thing because it was freezing cold out. And then we, chatted and everything. And even something like that where I know I have to get my ass out of bed to go run 4 miles on a treadmill and then get on to Zoom and talk to you guys. So I know you guys are getting ready to do the same thing, stuff like that. And then also having like a schedule is like so important to me because it makes it like fun to like, oh, I get to like go wake up tomorrow morning and go for a run and then get to have coffee or like donuts with the guys. Or, oh, I've got a 50K in 2 months. I need to get out and go for that long run on Saturday. It's just like it just helps so much with like wanting to go out and do it, like feeling like you need to get out and doing it, and like keeping yourself accountable is like so important to me, and something I was thinking on Friday, and then also today on my treadmill run was just like I have to do this because I have this race coming up, and I have to do this because my friends are doing this. So um, just so important to me. I think a lot of people out there to have that accountability, whether it's to a person or to a race, and how helpful that can really be.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think we each have to find obviously our own way to stay accountable, whether that's staying accountable to your training because you want to be as prepared as you can for a race, or whether it's because you want to stay accountable to friends who are also, you know, getting up and busting their asses to get their workout in, to get their run in. Because there's nothing worse than like letting someone down in a way when, you know, they were expecting you to keep your word, or they were expecting you to get your ass out of bed and, you know, get to wherever you wanted to meet so you could run. um, so I think I mean, I completely agree. Having that sense of accountability and sense of purpose for what you're actually doing, you know, you're running for a reason, you're running for a purpose. And we've talked about this before. We don't need to dive into that again. Really helps. And it makes it almost more meaningful than just running because you feel like running. Nothing wrong with running because you just feel like running, because oftentimes we run just because we feel like we want to run, you know, for no other reason, just to exercise and stay in shape. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
no,
that's applicable in all stages of life and all areas of life, and being like, okay, it's for work or for a big project, or for a school play. Like I need to go practice like my trumpet because we have this concert coming up in fifth grade, and I gotta make sure that my part's great. Or you know what, hey, my team's expecting me at work to have this portion of the project done by X date. I need to deliver on that. It can be something as simple and silly as running and sign up for a race where you run really far, and then you stop and you walk some, and then you have a shot of Fireball, and then you have a slice of pizza or a hot dog at an aid station. It can be whatever,
and it's
but
a delicious slice of pizza and a
yeah,
delicious hot dog too.
it can be anything in life as long as you have like somebody to say committed to and hold you accountable, whether it's yourself or a friend or whatever. Um, I was thinking about that today and how important that is. For me personally, to have that thing out there, that person there to hold me accountable for stuff like that. And I think this year specifically, when we're not going out and doing things or not racing, it's been a grind at times to find that motivation. And um, anyways, I was just thinking on Friday about how appreciative I am to have like people who enjoy running, because I can be like, oh, hey guys, let's go all run 5 miles on Friday morning before work. Doesn't have to be together. I'm in Chicago. You guys are in Iowa, but I know that like, we're all doing it. We're all like, no one wants to go to bed at 5:15 in the morning, but because you guys are doing the same thing, I know you guys are miserable. It makes it kind of like fun in a weird way, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and having that small group or person is so key.
Yep. No, it's huge. And I think too, I think one thing that you said that resonates is having, you know, keeping yourself accountable, but then also having someone else who will keep you accountable and who will call you out on your bullshit. Not you specifically, but
Right? No, for
someone,
sure.
having someone there to say, hey, you said you were going to do this and you didn't, and that really sucks. Like, you know, if you're not going to do it, then don't commit to it. Don't say that you're going to do it, because you're just going to let us down in the long run. I
Yeah.
feel that way too about like you know, agreements or work, or um I have this thought process that goes in my head where if this is very much hypothetical, but if I were to catch somebody doing something illegal, like catch somebody stealing something from a convenience store, catch somebody doing, I don't know, doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and I identify that and call them out and they get mad at me, it's like, no, why am I fucking on trial here because I caught you doing something that you're not supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Eh,
I that situation runs through my head all the time. I've never really encountered it, but it runs
Sure.
through my head all the time, and it's
Kind of,
I get un unnecessarily aggravated, like in real time, and I have to say, what? It's not, nothing's fucking happening. You're literally imagining this.
yeah. Well, I mean, everyone does that. Imagines weird situations and how would you would react in those situations. I mean, there's a dang TV show. What's it called? What Would You Do? When they put people in like unknowingly in situations where to see how they would react. Like, whether you're at a diner and somebody starts bullying, a waitress, and to see how like the customers would react to that situation being put in that awkward, what would you do kind of how would you react? Would you say something? Would you walk away? Would you stop the
Mm,
person? Would you, just turn your head and walk away and pretend you didn't see it?
mm.
So I think that that's a very natural thing to think about. But yeah, I mean, having that person or thing to hold you accountable is so key, I think.
Yep.
And especially when you're in a global pandemic, when you don't get to actually see people, it's difficult at times. So,
Yeah, it sucks.
anyways, kind of carrying on with the running and racing topics. I know that we were talking kind of offline earlier in the week about, and we mentioned it last week, but finding a race coming up to kind of look at, maybe sign up for yourself. Have you kind of looked at that at all? I know we were talking about 50Ks of convenience.
Yep.
Looking to talk to Josh about that. But what's the latest with that stuff and what you're looking like?
On the wait list for 50Ks of convenience.
Awesome.
That's the whole shebang. They normally have it's a convenience store race. I've talked about it before in Davenport, and they normally do a 100K version, a 40 mile, and a 20 mile. So 3 loops of 20 miles. This year they're doing a 25K and a 50K version, so about 15 to 16 miles and 2 loops of each, or 2 loops for the 50K. But yeah, there's a wait list, so I'm on the wait list.
Nice.
Send a message to Josh, son, who's the RD. It's like, hey, I'm on the wait list. He's like, yeah, I saw that. Cool. That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But we talked a little bit back and forth, but it should be interesting. They are this year they're doing it more like a traditional ultra where they're just gonna have aid stations or an aid out on the course. I don't know what the route's gonna look like. I don't know if it's gonna be in town Davenport or if it's just going to be like in trails out there, what the deal's gonna be. So
To be determined.
TBD.
Do you know how many people are on the wait list, or is that kind of like,
I
did you
don't.
never ever find out about that?
I don't know,
Okay.
and I didn't ask. I'm going to be ready to find out that I have a spot the day before and then go out that next
Cool.
day.
Cool.
So that's like my mentality going in. I'm going to train. I mean, I'm not really training, but or not right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to
Yeah.
train like it's like I'm going out there and going to be running that 50K.
Nice.
50K is not a distance to scoff at by any means. We've done the distance before. I know that I
Right.
can. I just need to get probably one or two 20 plus mile runs in, and then try to get my fitness up a
Yeah.
little bit in the next month and a half. It should be okay.
Cool. Nice. Well, yeah, I know that you've done that in the past and you really enjoyed it. So fingers
Yeah, it's
crossed you're able
fun.
to kind of slide in there and get that done. That's what, late March as well.
Yeah, it's like March 20th, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
It's about
around the
right.
same time for mine. I know that.
Yeah.
What's the name of the one that Alex and Nate that were on a couple episodes ago?
I
Which one are they
don't
doing? It's in
remember.
Kansas.
They're one in Kansas. I'm gonna look it
It
up.
doesn't matter, but that's that 50 miler. That's so it's fun to see that these races coming back. We're talking about a few. We got some buddies that are doing one. I know that Rocky Raccoon was this past weekend down in Texas. There was a
Hmm.
few other ones happened this past weekend out in like Colorado or Arizona or something. So it's fun to see like your friends and the people you've met at past races, seeing their social feeds, seeing their races and their Strava updates with ultras again, in person stuff. We've
Yep.
been seeing a lot of virtual events and everything, but it's just been fun to kind of sign up for races again, or get on the wait list for stuff, or see your friends running stuff on Strava and in awesome races. So it feels like things are slowly inching their way back to you know quote unquote normal, whatever that normal looks like. We'll all wait and see. But it's been fun over the last couple of weekends to kind of see things coming back into ultra shape. I know a lot of people haven't ran in-person ultras in close to a year, so it's been fun to kind of see that respark on all social media platforms and within our group friends.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's exciting to see him kind of come back and see race directors kind of adjust to the new way that we can, you know,
Yeah, I mean, people
have
who
these and have these events.
yeah, RDs deserve a lot of credit. I mean, not just having to kind of figure out how they're gonna keep their business afloat, but making it so the virtual thing was an option. How do they having to pack up all the swag and the swag and send that out to people, and figure out how they're gonna do buckles or medals and all that stuff. It's a lot, and maybe their belt buckle suppliers out of business because of COVID, or maybe
Mhm.
their metal manufacturers are out of business. So there's a lot of hurdles to get over. And mad props to all the RDs out there for making this possible. But with the race stuff coming back, I did want to ask you, what are
Yep.
the things you're most excited to get back into racing for? Like, what are you most excited about to race again? And what's the least favorite thing? What's the thing you're looking to forward the least?
Sure.
What
So
are you
before I
least looking forward to during racing?
yeah.
Wow, that
So
was terribly worded.
That's okay. We've only been doing this for 74 episodes.
Yeah.
No, I
Oh
fumble over
man.
my words all the time. I'm just being a dick. So first of all, the race they're doing is the Prairie Spirit Trail
Okay. Cool.
50 miler, I believe. I believe they're doing the 50 miler,
Yep.
March 27th in Kansas. What am I most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to that butterfly feeling you get when you toe the line.
Yep.
I haven't had not that I haven't had that feeling, but it's just for me, I get it every race, regardless of the distance, whether it's a 5K, a 1 mile race, or 100.
No
I just get
question.
that discomfort. Oh, hold on. You there? Oh man, hold on. All right, can you hear me? Okay, hold on a sec.
Yep.
All right, I got some static.
Yep. I heard that, but I think we're good now.
Yeah, let me hold on. I'm gonna go back.
If you're watching on YouTube, you get the added bonus clip where we don't cut this out, so you get to hear the awkward silence between Michael and I when he's fixing the static.
The audio,
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back. Let's go back here.
The behind the scenes of Chiowa.
Yeah, what everybody wants.
The stuff that no one was asking for, no one wants to see, but we're giving it to you anyways.
I know. All right, hold on. I'm gonna unplug and plug this back in, so it's gonna be a
Yep.
second.
Sounds good. If you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and click that subscribe button, click the bell so you get notified when we do post again.
Yeah.
But yeah, subscribe, comment, rate. You're on the ground floor of the YouTube account, so hop on the train now. We're heading to the moon.
Heading. Yeah. Have you? Okay. Have you watched Yellowstone?
I have not, but my folks did, and they loved it.
Okay. I can make a comment, but it wouldn't resonate. I'd say we're heading for the train station, which is not something you want to do.
I'm aware of what a train station is and what goes through the train station, and why you're at a train station.
In Yellowstone?
Not specifically Yellowstone, no.
Okay. Yeah. It's got a different negative murdery meaning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of,
want to go through the train station.
Are we recording again, or are you still working on it?
No, we're not recording this.
Okay. I was like, oh, yikes.
I just trimmed down the audio, so we're ready whenever you are. But
yeah, I'm ready
to listen back. Okay, I'm going to listen back to see what I was saying.
Yep.
Okay, ready? I'm just going to start talking.
You do your thing.
All right. It's just a little bit different when you're getting ready to run a race. That feeling that you get in your stomach where you feel a little bit of discomfort. You might have a little of the pre-race poops that you got to get out.
Pre-race poops.
The pre-race poops.
BRPs.
No, but I'm looking forward to that. To be honest, that feeling of thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And then just going for it, and after a half mile, just kind of being in stride.
Yeah, man.
What are you looking most forward to?
It's a great question, and I want to just make a quick comment on that. But I think that
you asked it. Of course, it's a great question.
No, no, it's great point. What you just said. Sorry,
Yeah.
great answer. Because I think everyone, at least I think most people, get those butterflies. It doesn't matter if it's a 5K. It doesn't matter if it's a 50K. It doesn't matter if it's a mile race. You get those butterflies. But can I do this? I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can do this. Like it just being so unsure about what's gonna lie ahead. And obviously, the further you get down the distance path, like the more uncertain things can be, more things can go wrong. But yeah, I can't wait for that either. But I think for me, what I'm most excited about is like being at mile 10 or an aid station or wherever, and picking somebody up and running with somebody who you don't know for however many miles. It could be 1 mile. It could be 30 miles if you're in a 100 mile. Or it could be super long. It could be super short. But just getting to know people in the community and in the race. There's so many awesome badass people who are just super kind and positive and uplifting. Some people aren't, but most people you meet are just have a great story or are super inspiring to me. So I'm looking forward to just meeting random people, whether it's at an aid station, whether it's before or after the race, whether it's at mile 1 or mile 99. I think that the people you meet is a huge reason why I like doing this sport and why I keep coming back for more. And that's what I'm looking forward to most. It's something you can't get in a virtual experience. You can do a lot of things in the virtual stuff. You can reach for your goals, and you can run a 100-mile race or whatever distance you're doing and accomplish some amazing physical feats. But I think the one thing we're all lacking right now is that connection of your fellow runner.
Yep.
and you can do it all you want virtually and on message boards, but it's just different when you're in the heat of a moment. You're both suffering together. It's hot or it's cold or you're cramping or you're miserable, but you have that person next to you that can kind of pick you up when you need it, and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to that the most.
Absolutely. It's like that active, community feeling. And I think your
Exactly.
point to picking people up or being picked up, I think we've both been on both ends of that. I
Of
know for
course.
sure during the 100, there was that woman named Kat
Yep.
from Michigan who we kind of, I don't want to say that us two picked her up, but we were running with Dave, I think. David. David
Yeah. I
St.
think.
George. I don't.
Yeah.
I could be getting his name wrong. Whatever.
Yeah.
We were running with him and kind of picked her up, and she was sitting down ready to call an Uber, and we said, let's get you to the next aid station, and she ended up finishing the race. And it's definitely happened for me too. The one I think about most is during Mines of Spain. I ran with that woman Andy, who we had on the
Hmm.
podcast for
Yeah.
about 10 miles, and I just kind of pushed through a lot of the night with her. She was just super high spirited and really lifted my spirits up, and helped kind of take me through and kind of keep me going.
Yeah, and I think anyone who's, ran a race in this community feels that way. I think that
Yep.
you can be, down in the dumps and ready to call an Uber, but somebody who you'd never met and may never meet ever again can pick you up and get you to that next aid station where you find a nice cup of ramen if it's cold out, or a nice glass of Gatorade if it's cold out, and you kind of get that second wind, and you kind of think, okay, maybe if I can just do the next aid station, and then things start rolling and coming back together, and next thing you know, you're running again, you're not just walking, and those thoughts and those doubts, seem, pretty far away. But in those dark, deep moments, like if you don't have somebody there that's there to uplift you, it can be difficult. So that's what I'm looking forward to most, is just meeting some badass, cool people again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. What are you least looking forward to?
The running.
The physical, the reason why you are there, the
Yeah.
actual activity that you're going to be doing.
Yeah. No, I think I'm looking forward to least is being out like on a morning run and having to
So the
poop and not
okay,
having like a bathroom.
bad
And,
feeling.
I had my routes in Des Moines where I knew I was never far away. I had my runs where I knew I was never more than a couple miles away from a bathroom, because I knew to do specific routes and specific loops. Like, okay, I know there's a porta pot in this bathroom, in this parking lot on this route. I know there's the woods over here on this route. Like, I knew I had options. Still trying to figure out my bathroom situation here in Chicago, because everything's closed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just walk into a place and like use their bathroom, during COVID. You just can't. And if I'm running to the lakefront, not a lot of people everywhere, so you can't just pull off into the woods like you can in Des Moines and take care of business. So still not looking forward to the bathroom situation, which is yet to come up since I've lived here. But I know it's looming on some of these long runs.
It's gonna happen
It's
at
gonna
some point. It
happen.
it has to happen. Are there public restrooms along the lakefront at all?
Yeah, a lot of them are closed right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it also is probably for the better.
Yeah, no, and I
Um,
understand it. I totally
yeah,
understand it. And a lot of those places I just don't know where they are yet, because I haven't, got to do some long runs and kind of figure out what those loops are and where the where the bathrooms are on a nice 20-mile, 30-mile training run. So yeah, got to work on the bathroom situation.
yeah.
Um,
You may
but
just have to come up with different routes that just loop you back to your apartment or to other people's places, or
yeah, and
I don't know.
which is less than ideal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, nothing like super like I'm not looking forward to. But I would say when you're those down moments, which are obviously what makes the race a race, but when you have to shit, you can't find a bathroom is always a tough one. And if you've ever ran far enough, that's happened to you, and it's an awful, awful feeling.
Yep.
How about you?
Not fun. I'm least looking forward to the moment in the race where I question why I'm in the race.
And why you're alive in that
Um,
exact moment?
exactly. Like, what am I doing? Because
Yeah.
every race it happens, and every race I come out of it looking for the next one. But I think I'm not looking forward to it because I hate that I get to that point, like
Oh, of
mentally and
course,
physically. It's not good, but I know it's also essential.
it is.
It's good to, I don't want to say it's good, but it's important to feel those lows so that you can also feel those highs, and you know you could, knowing that you can mentally push past it, that you've been torn down physically and mentally, just grueling and exhausted, and continuing to be able to push through. It's a nice feeling. So that's like saying, what's your greatest weakness. So my greatest weakness is my, is that I don't know, my impatience,
Yeah, no,
like in a job interview or whatever. But what I'm least looking forward to is those moments during the race for that mile, 2 mile, 3 mile stretch where you're just like, why the fuck am I here?
yeah,
Like, what's the point of this? But like I said, kind of to caveat it, I like that moment too because coming out of that and climbing out of that is fantastic.
100%. And I could not understand that anymore. That's a great. It's a way better answer than my poop answer.
No, I like
But
your poop answer actually. We can switch.
yeah, no, it's a great answer, and I think that, like you said, they are directly related to, when you look back, whether it's a day later, an hour after the race, or a day later, a month later, a year later, whatever, you're gonna remember the whole. You're gonna remember, you finishing, but you're mostly gonna remember, man, that on mile 62, I was cold. I felt like shit. I never thought I could run a mile again in my entire life. And then
Mhm.
somehow you figure it out and you start piecing together a footstep, and then you start walking a little faster and you figure it out. And that joy of finishing is so much higher than it would have been if you had just, like, been able to run the whole time or everything went great. And
If you
obviously,
just coasted, yep, yeah,
yeah, exactly. So it's that climb is shitty and difficult, but that emotional swing is, I think, what causes, like, the why you come back, and, like, why you're like, okay, I just ran a 50, I ran 50 miles, or like Hennepin, for example. You ran 50 miles and you were like, I can't take another fucking step. And I don't want to speak for you, and I'll let you comment on this, but I'm sure if you had just finished that, it would have been incredible. If you had, like, felt great the whole time you finished that, it'd be incredible. But and the fact that you came back and, like, you're like, okay, I want to fucking finish a 100-mile race. So I'm gonna sign up again. I'm gonna work my tail off, and I'm gonna go, do 10 junk miles, Badger 100, and I'm gonna finish that son of a bitch. And the fact that you went through that trial and tribulation, and maybe this isn't directly like in race situations, but that emotional swing that you went through, being like so down, and then you battled through the adversity of the next 100 mile, but you finished. Like, I bet that high of finishing that second one, what it is probably further, higher on the ladder than it would have been if you would have just ran through the Hennepin and felt great the whole time and finished. I'm assuming that the
absolutely,
excitement is higher in the second one, after
absolutely.
battling through adversity.
Oh yeah, because I think I knew, like you said, I kind of battled through, and I also, when I signed up for Hennepin, I was not preparing properly for it either. I think it would have given me a false sense of confidence and a false sense of ability, if I were able to kind of push through and finish. And looking back on it, if I had to, I could have finished Hennepin. Um, if the saying goes, if someone had a gun to your head, I would have been able to keep going. But I think that I was not mentally prepared nearly enough for that race, nor was I like physically prepared enough for that race. I think it kind of taught me kind of like you said, taught me a lesson about taking this kind of shit seriously, um, taking things seriously, and mentally preparing, and setting some sort of a schedule for yourself. For me, I don't have a natural gift or the ability to just run long distances. I mean, nobody has the natural gift to fucking run hundreds. Everybody works really hard and trains hard and prepares hard for them. Um, but for me, that kind of set the stage. Is like, okay, I can't just go from 50K in May to fucking 100 miles in October with nothing in between.
Right.
That's something that I think I would have been really cool to do if I was able to bridge that gap and do it if I did it properly. But I didn't. I learned that about myself, and I learned that if I want to, try to achieve a goal like this, I have to do it a little bit more regimented.
Yeah.
But then also, you kind of hit it on the head. That next October, I did 100Ks of not 100. I did Mines of Spain 100K, and then the following October did the Badger trail races with you. And absolutely the glory of the feeling of excitement and thrill and happiness and joy that came as we were kind of coming up onto that ridge, banked right and then
Yep.
banked left eventually, to finish it up, was so much sweeter because I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get there. Like, I didn't know if I was
Right.
ever actually going to be able to finish a 100 miler because I tried before and failed miserably. And that's okay. It's okay that I tried and failed. I tried, failed, learned, readjusted, and came back. And we killed it in
Yeah.
32 and a half hours.
Yeah. And I think that, like, yeah, that's so applicable in so many scenarios in life. Being like, you know what? I've tried this exact thing before, and I got 50% of the way there, which is
Mhm.
awesome. That's a fucking far away. 50 miles is far as fuck. But at the end of the day, I mean, you still have to double that. And like the fact that you came back, you made a plan, you checked the box. You okay, I'm gonna do the 100K. I'm gonna continue to like work my tail off, and I'm gonna accomplish that goal. Like that's you could take that mentality and apply it to anything in life, whether it's business or school or a goal like this or running for president or whatever it can be. I mean, that is literally applicable in every possible scenario in life, which I think is
Yep.
like at the end of the day. I mean, we're running for various reasons, but I think that a lot of it is to figure out what am I capable of and what can my body do and like how mentally strong I am. It's so much more than just running or accomplishing a race or a goal. I think it's applicable in just about every you know scenario in life. So
Yep.
that's something I think about a ton.
Mm-hmm. Fucking nuts.
But
It's
anyways,
crazy.
not to change the subject off of racing, but I did have a funny thought
Okay.
today, and if we can just disregard this or we can get into it and keep talking about running. But ironically, I was listening to a podcast today about the best days and some of like the worst days or whatever. Like for example, like, growing up, one of the worst days was like the first day of school, the second day of school, like oh summer's over, or as an adult being like oh man, the first day after the holidays, going back to work. But one of the answers they were talking about was like when you're in school, and I was mind you that I was running on the treadmill today for like an hour or something like that. But I had a visceral reaction to one of the guys said, "Yeah, one of the worst days growing up was when you were like in fifth grade through like high school and you had to run the mile, and no one really showers afterwards, and everyone's hot and gross and goes back to class. But my goodness, did running the mile suck in like first grade or second grade when you see like, oh, I got to go run around the outside hot baseball field 19 times to get to a mile, and that was fucking miserable. So I got a kick out of that today, being like, man, I used to dread the mile more than any other day in school, and now I'm fucking running all this crazy shit for no
Right
for
now
no
you.
apparent reason.
Right. Well, now you want to. Well, to
Yeah,
an extent,
exactly,
you get joy out
exactly.
of it. When we were in elementary school, especially, you're right. We ran around that baseball field like 19 times. Who
Which
knows if that was actually like a mile?
that was like
Crazy.
47 miles. It felt like. I
So
mean, it's
probably
like all
what it
right,
felt like.
go run around the fucking baseball field 407 times. That'll be about a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what are you
Just
talking about, Lane?
estimating.
That was like 17 miles.
I know. And the crazy thing was, we were just running on the base paths. 19 little kids run. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been entertaining though. We were just on the
Yeah,
running,
yeah, running the
basically
bases.
home runs. But no, I remember that day it was awful every year. It was terrible.
Yeah, I was
No,
never
that's
fast. I
bottom
mean,
line.
I'm not fast now, but
Mm-mm.
like it was always terrible. Like sucking like one lap around the track, and you're like sucking eggs. Like, how am I gonna do three more of this? Like, this is like impossible. And it
Mm-hmm.
always seemed to be like on a day that was terrible outside, either raining and cold, or it was 1,000 degrees, and you're standing on the black hot, black track, and you're like, man, I'm baking in the sun, or you're freezing your ass off. But it seemed like it didn't matter if you ran in a circle. It seemed like you were always running into the wind. At least that's what I always felt like when I was growing up. I'm like, I think I'm gonna run like this mile in 17 minutes, and I'm sure I'm running into a headwind the entire time.
Yeah, I think that our high school track was inside of a wind tunnel,
Yeah, it felt like
and
it
it
at
just
times.
always. I completely agree.
Yeah,
There was one year. I think it was junior or senior year where I had missed like a certain amount of days, and like missed a certain amount of gym days. And I don't know how other people had it, but one in Illinois, gym was required. You
yeah, it
had to
was.
be enrolled in gym. It was like maybe one state where you had to be enrolled in gym, except for when we were in health class.
Yeah,
Like full time. Like I know Iowa doesn't have that requirement. Nebraska doesn't have that requirement. You can take gym classes. You have to take like a minimum, I think, but you don't have to be enrolled every quarter, every semester, every year. That's unique, I think, to Illinois and maybe a few other states. But I remember one year I'd missed like 4 or 5 gym classes for some reason. I don't remember exactly why. I think I had an early or late gym, so it was convenient for me if I had like appointments just to come late or leave
yeah,
early.
right.
And one of our football coaches was Coach Fields was my gym teacher, and I made an agreement with him that if I were able to run the mile in like under 7:30, or it might have even been like under 7 minutes, and I was in good shape, better shape then than I am now. He's like, all right, then I'll just wipe away your absences and you'll be fine. And me and Max Shaper ran it together because he was in good shape too. And we came in like 2 seconds under the threshold.
Oh
And he's like,
damn,
well,
perfect
there you
pacing.
go. I said you would, or you said you could. All right, I told you that I'd knock these off and you did. So good
That's
for you.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that whole week kind of sucked. I'm not sure if it was just an Illinois thing, but having to do like the
The fitness
presidential
testing.
testing.
I'm
It
sure it
was like
wasn't just Illinois. I'm sure it
it can't
was.
be. Yeah,
No, I'm sure it
but
was
it
more
was
widespread than that.
terrible. The
So
things
what were the events we had? Events.
I
We had the
remember the
mile run.
mile, the sit and reach
Sit
which
and
was my
reach.
biggest nemesis because
Yeah.
I'm the most inflexible person in the entire world. I'm a
Yep.
goddamn board. So that
The
one always petrified me more than actually the mile.
yep.
But
The
then the shuttle
shuttle
run,
run.
which is basically the 3 cone drill at the combine. So I'm starting to think they were basically like prepping us to like be professional athletes or like be in
Yeah.
the
Well,
military.
guess
We were
what?
doing the
Jokes
fucking
on us.
combine basically.
Jokes on us. Didn't
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Push ups, sit ups,
Oh man.
pull ups.
Push. We never had pull ups, did we?
Oh, we did.
I don't
Oh,
think
we
so.
did.
I
We
don't think that
absolutely
was a
did.
part of the exam.
We
That
pull ups.
might
Yes,
was.
it was. Yes,
Are you sure?
yes. Because I remember for the longest time in elementary school, it was like one, and I couldn't do one.
Potential fitness. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm almost positive it was. But anyways, the sit and reach, like I said, was still the worst because I and I'm pretty tall now. I'm 6'3". In high school, I was not very tall. I didn't hit my growth spurt until I was like junior, but I've always been super like stiff and not flexible. And I remember I may have mentioned this on the podcast before, but but every time I would sit down and put my legs on the board and I had to like reach towards my toes, I'd have like one of those out of body like cartoon moments where you'd sit down and then it would go like my perspective was like my legs just started like going away from my body, like it was like in a cartoon stretching away, and it was like I can't even see the board, like I'm in another like time zone, like it's so far away. So I try to like stretch and like barely touch the board. And it was always embarrassing because everyone's in a line to like, all right, Michael's up, sit down. The whole class will watch, and you do the sit and reach. And then it was always like so degrading. I'm like, I'm like the most inflexible person alive. So I do terrible at that. That was always awful. But that was my like worst event, and I hated the sit and reach. It gave me like nightmares.
Yeah, it's not good. I
Yeah.
wasn't quite as tall as you were. I was also not. I know you just said that you weren't super tall when you were, whatever, growing up or in elementary school, but I was not a. I honestly, I don't just. I think I think that I liked the idea of getting national or getting presidential, and I think I might have gotten national one or two times, but I was not like an athletic kid. Like, I like to play sports, and I was like fine at
Yep.
baseball,
All right.
but
Here they are. I
yeah,
got.
I'm looking at them now.
Okay.
I'm wrong. We have curl ups slash sit ups, shuttle run, sit and reach slash V sit reach. I'm guessing there's a difference
That's
between that.
yeah.
Like one of them is probably like past your toes, and one of them might just be like on the board. I
Yeah,
don't
sit
know.
and reach is the one in the middle there is my arch nemesis, the
Yeah.
centimeters. Holy fuck, did I hate that stuff.
Yeah, God. And then
Yeah,
the
the one
mile
mile
run,
run,
pull ups, and right
pull
on.
ups.
I don't remember pull ups. Okay, so for presidential pull ups, for a 6-year-old boy, the number's at 2.
No way I could do 2 pull ups when I was 6 years old.
No.
7 doing
You
4.
you're sure you might be light. You might not weigh very much, but
Yeah,
you've
no
got no
shot.
muscle. You're 6 years old. I guess that's why it's presidential. But
Yeah, that shit was terrible though. Like I felt like we were getting ready to like go on, like they're preparing us for like to be like Katniss
a boot
Everdeen in
camp.
like Hunger
Yeah.
Games. Like okay, if you can't do 47 pull ups by the time you're 6.5, like you're not gonna be anything. And from in my case, it was just all about the sit and reach. But okay, if you can't touch your toes, like you're gonna be like sent off to the middle of nowhere.
To learn how to
You're gonna
touch your
go
toes and
live with
become
the
flexible.
wildlings beyond the wall.
So, okay, if you were to, we should. Oh, we should do a
Oh
fitness challenge.
God, holy cow!
Be
If
fucking
I just
nuts.
talked myself into doing the presidential fitness challenge
We
for
should do
like
it.
Chiowa
We should
content,
do
that'd
it.
be
We should
terrible.
try to. We should see how much time do you think it would take? Oh my God, this is you get 6. No, okay. This is great content. So I think for everything that is quantity related, so curl ups, pull ups, and push ups, I think it's just as many as you can do. I don't think there's a time limit.
Okay,
And then for
I think there
shuttle,
was a time limit for like the push-ups,
really was it like 2 minutes.
something like that.
I know
Yeah,
when I was in
remember they had
PT
like the
classes.
beep. It was like beep, and you have to go down like do it, and then like
Oh my
you have to like
God,
count, and then
I
like
think you're right.
whenever you like had like maxed out and like you dropped, like that was the end of it.
That makes it tough because sometimes it's easier just to go like do
Yeah, you had to like keep a
go
rhythm,
quick, but okay, you have to keep that rhythm. It's probably
yeah,
one every like 4 or 5 seconds.
something like that.
That's like the beep test. I don't remember if we did the beep test
We
in.
didn't. No.
I know I did it for baseball. I think freshman year we did it as part of like tryouts.
Yep.
I think, but for people who don't know what that is, it's like a metronome. that starts out, and it's, I don't know, maybe a minute from between the first beep and the second beep, and then it cuts out 2 seconds and then 2 seconds and then 2 seconds. So each interval becomes smaller and smaller, and you have to get across the gym, across the field, across whatever between the two beeps. You can run as hard as you want, or you can try to pace it out. But I just remember that being fucking killer. And it doesn't seem like it'd be difficult, but after like, the 12th or 14th time that you sprint across the gym, the lengthwise of the basketball court, gets pretty fucking tough. But dude, I think we should try to do a presidential or like a fitness test.
All right,
See,
I'll
this
fail
is why, like,
miserably, but
I'm not like in shape enough to do well, but it like gets me excited. It's like
it would
this
be
could be
funny.
fun.
It would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh
but the sit
man.
and reach, I'm gonna have nightmares again about the sit and reach. Shit,
Oh
I'm about to
man.
start doing yoga. Fuck.
It's
Like
I've
last
never
week, what?
felt bad when I have done yoga. I
No,
haven't done
never.
yoga that much and never done it consistently, but I
Just
always feel it's like a
embarrassing.
run. I always feel better when I leave than when I started.
Correct. No,
Or I
that's
never
true.
feel worse.
I just know I'm terrible at it. It's like always embarrassed. It's more the social shame. And I know no one cares. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're doing great. Like keep trying." I mean, I'm just like, I'm terrible at this. I just shame myself, which is not a
Difficult.
good quality trait, but uh yeah, it's definitely true. I definitely do that. But yeah, maybe I'll have to do the sit and reach and bring back the terror of middle school.
Oh man. I'm thinking of like curl ups too, or partial curl ups, where I think they're not the little, pansy ones or loser ones where the way that I do them, if I do any core workouts now, where I like
Yeah.
lay on my back and I'll pull my knees up and just like do a little bit.
Yeah,
Dude, they're
yeah.
like feet flat on the ground,
Yeah.
back on the ground.
Had to get your wrist over your knees. I remember that.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that was
Good
killer.
times. Good
Oh
times.
man, and when you're a chubby kid like I was, it's tough to, it
Yeah.
all just kind of meets in the middle. It stops you from getting up.
Oh shit.
It sucks.
Yeah. But no, that's
Okay.
that was something I was thinking on my run today, which made me laugh.
Oh man.
It took up an extra 12 seconds, and that's so I could stop focusing on the fact that I was running on the fucking treadmill.
That's fine. Oh man. Okay,
Oh
so
man.
we have some other stuff, but let's get to this stuff next time because we're
Yeah.
coming up on 50 minutes. The
Yep.
only thing I wanted to come back to was those Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah. I don't understand what you meant by put a pin in that, but yeah, let's circle back to that. Why
So
not?
how were they prepared? How were they?
I didn't make them. That's a good question. Cher made them. They were
Were they like roasted? Were they
yeah,
baked?
they're
Were they
roasted.
fried?
They're
Okay.
roasted. Yeah, roasted Brussels sprouts. I mean, they had some stuff on it, oil, salt, and pepper. I don't know. I didn't make them, but yeah, they're always good.
Yep.
I love a good brussy.
Yeah. See, we've talked about this before. I know we have, because I grew up not liking them because, well, long story short, my dad would eat them raw, or
That's tough.
I perceive them as raw. They were probably like boiled, or they were probably, but
Sounds gross.
he would make us eat them. He would make us try them.
Yeah.
I remember one time specifically being made to try them. I don't know if it was ever any more than that, but I did not like them from then on out. And then I refused to eat them. Hillary would make them, and I would refuse to eat them until probably 3 or 4 years ago. And
They're delicious.
she had prepared like roasted Brussels sprouts that were well seasoned. Not that my dad's weren't seasoned, but I don't remember them being seasoned.
But they were
Roasted
shit,
Brussels sprouts
Mr.
that were good.
Stanford.
Yeah, they're bad. That were like well seasoned,
Okay.
and they're delicious. And now like I'll make them on my own, or
Yep.
make them on a sheet pan or whatever.
Exactly.
We like to have, we don't do it that often, but we'll do roasted Brussels sprouts with some sort of rice, and oftentimes like a roasted chicken or like a baked chicken, and you throw some coconut aminos on there. It's like a soy sauce, but it's not loaded with sugar. I'm
Sounds
sorry,
delicious.
salt, not
Yeah.
sugar. It's really good.
Sounds good.
Big fan.
Nice.
Would
Very
recommend.
good.
Yep.
Cool.
You have
Cool.
anything else?
Nothing crazy. I was actually on a another podcast yesterday.
What? Who's podcast?
Yeah, I have a friend who just started a true crime podcast here in Chicago. It's
Oh.
called Spooked. Spooked. So
Ooh,
it's a true
okay.
crime, an unsolved mystery podcast.
So they
S-
like are legitimate. They have like they do research, and they are
like
doing
she
real
had a whole
stuff.
script and did a lot of research and like it was very impressive. I'm like, oh, I spend about 7 minutes before we start making a
If
Trello card with random topics, mostly about food and running, and that's how we do
Yep.
ours.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, so we talked about um, Dyatlov Dyatlov Pass incident, which I was never not familiar with prior to it, but it was about I think it was 1959. Some Russian hikers were in the Russian wilderness doing a mountain climb, and there was a very strange kind of disappearance and the way they died. So it was a very interesting way to kind of dig into it. She's done a few other ones about Chicago, murder mysteries and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun to be on there. So go check that podcast out on Spotify called Spooked, on Instagram, the Spooked Podcast. So that was fun to be a part of, and a good. Who doesn't like true crime? So it was a good time.
Nice. So is that so it was scripted. So were you playing a part? Were you playing a character?
No, no. So she had just had like kind of the entire story kind of written out and kind of how what her messaging was going to be. So like the entire podcast was like kind of written out in like word form, so she could like read from like basically a script to make sure she got names right and details right, because obviously these are real events that affected real people. So it was just a
Right.
lot more research and like written out word
Right.
to ensure that the messaging was getting across correctly. So
Right.
not maybe
What
script
was
was the
your
wrong.
role?
What's that?
What was your role in the podcast?
Yeah. So my role was basically the audience like hearing it for the first time. So she kind of detailed
Got it.
the incident and things that were happening, and I kind of gave my real time reaction and kind of my thoughts because I had never heard of it. So
Okay.
it was yeah, it was super fun, and I won't spoil it, but yeah, go check that one out too if you're interested in true crime.
That's dope. I think I have heard of that incident, but I will definitely be checking it out. I think I
Cool.
have heard about it just because I've seen random shit on like Imager and Reddit about it.
Yeah, and actually just
But
last
yeah.
week, ironically, was not planned, but Nat Geo came out with on January 28th, came out with a new article about how science has kind of tried to shed light on the incident. So it's actually kind of in the news right now. At least was 2 weeks ago. I think that comes out on Saturday. The what's Saturday? Saturday the 13th. So yeah, if you're listening to this weekend or next week, go check that podcast out. It'll be out on February 13th.
Very cool.
Cool. That was it.
Love
I
to
got
hear it.
nothing else. Yeah, all good, man. Thanks for listening to episode 74 of Chiowa. I know we got a couple people we're looking to have on over the coming weeks, so we'll keep you up to date on that. But thanks as always for listening, y'all. Go check us out on Spotify. Go check us out on YouTube, Instagram. We have our new YouTube that we're trying to get launched off and doing our simulcasts on there. So go check that out on YouTube at the Chiowa Pod channel on YouTube. Go check us out on Instagram, Chiowa Pod, there, and on Twitter as well. So thanks as always, guys. Anything else, Michael? Should we say see you later?
I think we should say see you later.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you. Nice. What time is it? 5:30. Oh man.
Perfect.
Perfect timing. Let me save this.